listen to these tracks.
Today, our guest is Brandon Setzer. He's the owner and operator of Setzer Racing Development. He's based in Newton, North Carolina, and he runs a late model development program for drivers coming up through their ranks. So my son Dallas is doing late models now with Brandon. He's done one race so far, and Brandon's going to describe what running a late model with him is like. But there are other series here, and I wanted to bring Brandon on to tell the story, number one, but number two, help us all understand the complicated, confusing, messed up world of stock car racing that is the grassroots level. Because there's like 50 versions of these cars. They all kind of look the same. They aren't. He knows all that. His dad was veteran racer Dennis Setzer. Brandon is the guy that beat Kyle Busch so bad that Kyle Busch hired him to get it over with. He is not related to Brian Setzer of the Brian Setzer Orchestra. Too many people have asked me that. I'm sure you're sick of that joke. Brandon, welcome to the show.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, look forward to talking to you guys on here.
Okay, so number one, introduce yourself if you will, and people have heard of you through this show so far, but if they're just watching this on YouTube, this is their first shot.
Okay. Yeah. So, used to be a late model racer, probably 6, 8, 10 years ago. Did that for a while and then kind of decided that I wasn't, my ultimate goal was to make it to NASCAR and to be able to make a living driving a race car. Kind of seen the path wasn't going to be very easy to do that, and it was aging out and my time was kind of past for that. So kind of tried to see what else I could do in the industry. Went to work for Kyle Busch like you mentioned, and then 5 years ago started my driver development deal. So we coach drivers through through the learning process and the tricks that I've learned over my years of racing, try to help those drivers increase that learning process where maybe it took me 5 or 6 years to get proficient and good at driving a race car. It hopefully speed up that process for these drivers by by teaching them the tricks and of the trade.
Sure. Brandon, let's go back to the beginning. Your dad is Dennis, and did you grow up going to racetracks with your dad there in North Carolina? How about this? Was being a race car driver and in this world thrust upon you? Was it your choice? Or was there anything else you wanted to do?
It was definitely my choice, no question, but I don't feel like I had much of an option. I mean, it's all I grew up knowing and doing. I watched my dad do it every weekend. Got to go to the track with him some, not a ton, but it's all I ever knew. So yeah, for sure, it was definitely my choice. But I feel like I never had any other thoughts of doing anything else. So it was really cool. My dad was already pretty accomplished by the time I was old enough to really realize what was going on. Running in the Busch Series at the time, and then progressed into a Truck Series ride, which lasted for probably 10 years. He was in a pretty successful NASCAR Truck Series ride. So I got to watch all that firsthand, and it was just a lot of fun. And he was really, really good. I mean, he accomplished, I think, 17 wins over his career, which is really, really big for, somebody out of a small town like us. And he put a ton of hard work to get where he was. So really cool. And he was super hands on too. He wasn't just a driver. He knew how to work on them, knew how to set them up. And he knew a lot of the, of the secrets as far as racecraft and learning how to race and learning how to pass. And he definitely taught me all that as we're growing up running go-karts and bandoleros and stuff like that at an early age.
We've gotten to know each other a little bit here over the last few months, and you're kind of a crack up. So you told me the story. I want to play high school quarterback. And then it was my time to go in, and you actually tapped out and you said, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I was probably 9 or 10 years old, and I think I was third string, and they had already knocked out the first two quarterbacks. They had a really big guy on the other team, and he was just hurting the quarterbacks left and right. And I'm like, man, I'm good. I'm going to sit here on the sidelines. I want my race car back. Yeah. So yeah, football didn't last much longer after that.
I think I asked you, well, did you go in? And you said no. Find somebody else.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I seen what
I'm
happened to the
fine.
last two guys. Yeah.
What was your first race car? What did you drive first?
Yeah, so a go kart, dirt go kart. I think I was 6 or 7 years old, something like that. Um, yeah, I mean, just didn't race a ton at that age. I feel like nowhere near as much as some of the kids race now. I mean, we were really working around my dad's racing schedule. So, man, it's hard to remember when I was that young, but I feel like we probably only raced 8, 10, 12 times a year. So not a ton. And then, when I got into my early teens, I feel like I lost a little bit of interest, just doing teenage stuff. I got into riding dirt bikes and wanted to go out with friends and stuff like that. So I still race, but I don't know that I put the effort in at the age that I really needed to get myself ahead at that 13, 14-year-old range. And then when I got to my later teens, then I really caught the bug and went, full bore into racing probably at 17 or 18. And then that's never stopped. Still going hard.
What is the progression? The reason I ask here is I've talked to numerous people, and typically when they're from more from the South, they all kind of have more of a similar story. But I would not say I've met anybody that has the exact same story. There's does It's not like football or basketball or something where you play here, then you play in high school, then you go to college, then you go pro. It's different. There's a lot of ways to get there, and there doesn't seem to be any one way that's better than another way, because it's so subjective. It depends a lot on things that are in your control and a lot of things that are out of your control. So the things that are out of our control, and the reason I went to you is I don't know anything about a late model car. I mean, I know I can look at one and say that's a late model car, but the nuances of setup, knowing the quarter of an inch adjustment to be making on anything around there, that would take, just like you said, it would take years to get proficient at, much less good at. And how long? I mean, you grew up around your dad doing it, but how long were you in your 20s by the time you thought I'm good, like I'm really good?
Yeah. Man, I don't know that I ever felt like I was really good. I don't know. I don't know. Um, yeah, I was probably early 20s when I felt like I'm getting to the point where I could race with the best. I never really felt like I was as good as I needed to be to go to the next level, but I also never really got the chance to race enough either. I mean, our the most races we did was probably 12 or 13 in a year. So I think that was a little bit of it, but yeah, the progression's just it's different for everybody, and mine was very probably pretty standard by 15 years ago definition. We kind of started in go-karts, went to bandoleros, run a little bit of that, um, got in a late model super truck, which is pretty low level at the local short track. We run 35 lap races every week, and there were 10 or 12 cars, and the competition wasn't real strong. We won quite a few races, but didn't really mean much. It was a pretty it was probably the third or fourth division at the local short track, tier wise. So, um, kind of got my chance to move up through just being successful in the trucks, and somebody gave me a chance to run a super late model for very little money, and had a lot of success doing that. And then I kind of talked dad into let's go buy our own car and try to figure this thing out. So we kind of started doing our own super late model car. um, I want to say in 2013 is when we started that, and then we went pretty hard racing in that. From that point forward, it was pretty serious. I mean, the super late models at the time, Ryan Blaney was running, Chase Elliott was running. Um, later Christopher Bell, William Byron. So we got to race a lot of cool drivers that are now in the Cup Series, um, and Truck Series and Xfinity Series. So growing up, it was really cool to be able to race those guys. It was pretty evident that when you were racing those type of guys that they were pretty special and that they were going to have a shot to go to the next level. So really cool to see all that. And we had some success. We won, won 6 cars tour races and got to race toe to toe with those guys and won a fair amount. So it was a lot of fun. And the cool thing was I got to do it all with my dad. We got to work hand in hand in the shop together. So that was a lot of fun and a big part of it too.
People come to you probably with a lot of different levels of experience, but here's why I reached out. So I'm learning this path kind of blind, Brandon. The progression that I've Googled and talked to people has been do go-karts, do legends. Maybe there's quarter midgets in there somewhere. I had to learn what a quarter midget was. If you can do road course stuff, you can go to Europe and get good at that. Then in this country, if you want to go to NASCAR, the next thing you do after all that is get good in a late model. And there's lots of flavors of late models. So I started looking around like, who can help me with that? And your name kept popping up, for some credibility reasons. So I could tell that you seem to have some relationship with Chevrolet. So I kind of figured that out. And then I could tell that you had a few names that had come through you that you had coached up and they had moved up. And I thought, well, he's got a track record of some success here. And I wouldn't expect that with every client you have, but if you've had a few, a few is more than one. So that means that you've had, you've got a track record of success. You've got a relationship with Chevy in here somewhere. And then I just called you. And quite frankly, Brandon, you answered. Some people don't. And this is a business where you'll get calls from all sorts of parents, I'm sure. And they're all hoping and praying that their kid's the next thing. And some companies will just take their money. I got the sense from you that you're in this because while your original goal was to drive yourself, you have found a lot of satisfaction on coaching people, and you freaking love building race cars and making them faster at the track. You get a little high off of it. It seems like you truly enjoy it.
Absolutely, yes.
So what is it like to have to vet customers here? Like, when is a customer the wrong fit for you? Like, who don't you want coming to you to help you? Because that's a waste of your time too, I know.
Man, I don't know. I mean, I definitely think, you see the people who don't have any potential. And we usually try to do a test, to kind of, the first test is kind of where we really know because you can go back to the background and see what success they've had in legend cars and stuff like that. But we always do, just an opening test, just like we did with Dallas. You go to Hickory, no pressure, go out there, show them the ropes and just let them go get comfortable and go learn. And we know pretty quickly whether somebody's going to be proficient in driving a late model or not, or if, somebody we want to continue with and see there's potential to get better with. And, we've seen that right off with Dallas. And, quite frankly, we haven't had very many that I haven't been interested in working with. Most of the kids that come out of these legends and go-karts and stuff are actually really good. I mean, they take the late models quite well. So, and Dallas is no different. I mean, we seen the potential right away. Had a ton of talent and definitely had some stuff we needed to work on and get better, which is every driver, right? So, I mean, it is a tough business. The biggest thing we look at is, attitude. Obviously, the talent's got to be there, but, you know, I want the family to have a good attitude as well as the driver, right? So if somebody comes in there and it's like, man, we got to win. First race, like we need to win. Like it's got to happen. Like winning's everything. It's like, well, let's focus on learning. It's winning's not everything. Like we all want to win, but there's steps that we have to take to get there, and let's do it the right way. So, attitude's big. Like say with the family and with the driver, and that's something we definitely take into consideration too, because I feel like we're pretty laid back people. Like I don't get real excited about stuff. I try trying to stay nice and calm, and I feel like that's where you're going to do the most learning, and not getting super excited, and not getting upset if things don't go exactly your way, first couple times out. So um, yeah, yeah, dude, Dallas has been honestly the perfect example. You guys have been nothing but awesome to work with, and yeah, I think realistic expectations. And he's progressed well. He's learning quickly, and I think we'll be competing for wins in no time.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, but re- sometimes I'm overly realistic. Like sometimes sometimes I'm not aggressive enough. I feel I know where we are and where we aren't. We did not start this until, I mean, this is year 5 of racing for Dallas, but truly it's year 2 of racing legit, like for
Yep.
real, with people, not me coaching them up. I mean, the first 3 years were go-karts and legends cars running a dozen a year with me
Yep.
figuring all of it out. Now we're leapfrogging. This is what he wants to do, and I have 2 other kids. I know you've got 2 kids. Your kids are all different. This is just Dallas's thing. My girls, they have their own thing. Dallas's is more easy for me to understand conceptually, but I'm learning, just like my other daughters, I don't really know the depths to get them to the next level. I got to get home.
Yeah.
So for drivers that come to you, so you've got this Chevy relationship, and that, you don't have to describe that in depth if you don't want to, but that it just proved to me that you have some credibility with the quality of the vehicles that you're producing, and your program overall. And you had introduced us to Lauren
Yep.
Rainier there
Yep.
last week. But talk about the cars. So there's pro late models, there's late model stocks, there's IHRA late models, there's limited late models up here in the Midwest, there's super late models.
Yes.
My insurance guy said, does a late model mean that it's like a brand new car from the dealership? It's new.
Right.
I said, no, I don't even know why they call them late models.
Right.
So
Right.
walk through why you choose. You do them all, I know, but you specialize in pro late models. That's your jam. Why that one?
So the pro late models are very closely resembled the super late models that I used to race, and we've just kind of continued down that same path. A pro late model and a super late model are the exact same car, exact same configuration, same suspension parts. Everything on the car is the same, other than the engine. So the problem with the super late model that I used to run, it used to be affordable 10 years ago. We could use a fairly affordable engine to make a lot of power. They're probably 630 horsepower. And as the years have went on, those engines just became increasingly more and more expensive, as to where now they're a 40 plus $1,000 engine, to go super late model racing, which just is so hard to get a good field of cars to be able to afford that kind of engine bill. So they decided to put crate motors in the supers, and call them pros. And that's the kind of path we went down, since we already had all the knowledge and the expertise in the super late models. So we just carried that right and put a crate motor in our cars. And as they become more popular, there's more series that pop up with the Cars Tour, now the IHRA. And the good thing about the Pro Late model is we can run them all over the country. We went to Speed Weeks in New Smyrna, Florida this year. Nashville, Tennessee runs them weekly. Basically, the only place that doesn't run a weekly Pro Late model race is in the Carolinas, where we are right here. So there's a couple touring series with the Carolina Pro Series, and then the 2 I mentioned, Cars Tour and IHRA. So that's the 3 touring series we have, but there's no weekly shows. But pro late models, we can go to California, we can go to Iowa, we can go to Wisconsin, Minnesota, literally all over the country. We can run the same car, same rule package. So that makes it interesting, and a lot of fun if we want to travel. We haven't wanted to branch out quite that far yet, but it may be in the near horizon. But I love the cars. They're light. They're built to race. They're offset to the left. Don't have a ton of power, so they really teach momentum. Um, and they got a lot of grip, so they're fairly easy to pick up and drive. But you get a huge sensation of speed, and they're also really hard to pass because they're so momentum based. So I think it's a great learning car, a great stepping stool to like a late model stock, which is more a late model stock is very similar to a like Xfinity car, perimeter chassis, steering box steering, truck arm rear suspension. So very old school muscle car suspension and chassis design. So they're a little harder to drive and they have a little more power. But the Pro Late was a great start, stepping stool to those.
I you've educated me on late model stocks and where pro it's just the word pro late model sounds more important than late model
Right.
stock because of the word pro.
Right.
But late model stock is in some people's mind the next step up after this. Even though it may be a step backwards in like the actual technology of the car. Um, but that's the next thing up technically, I suppose. And then you go on to other series like ARCA, and then you can
Yes,
go to NASCAR if that's where you want to go.
for sure.
You have far more customers than us. You've got an interesting young man from England right now, and his entire background in England was in road course go-karts. He
Yes.
we just met him. Just met he and his father actually, and they've come to you and they're running a different series with you. What's theirs called?
Yes. So they're running the IHRA Stock Car Series, which is a new series that just come out this year. Um, Very interesting series. They come out and they've got a huge purse, paying a lot of money, and they're doing it upright. They got a ton of officials, and they have a lot of backing, financial backing behind them, to be able to make the shows go really well. Pay good throughout the field, and it's been a good deal so far. We've only run two races so far with that deal, but it's interesting. It's different. It's a completely different rule package. So as a crew chief and a car builder, that was kind of fun for me to kind of get out of the box a little bit. I kind of been doing the same thing for 5 or 6 years, and we tried different things, but we're all relatively kind of in a box of what we think's the best. And the new rule package kind of automatically puts us out of that box because it's not allowed to do what we do. So it's really cool to kind of rethink things and re-engineer things. And I think it's honestly made me better at everything else I've done because, hey, this what we think wouldn't works pretty well. So what else can we do that we don't think won't work might actually also work. So it was a lot of fun actually.
Is it that same Chevy crate engine that you're running with us? What is that engine? Chevy 410s? What is that engine?
604. Yes. So the
604.
Chevy 604, which is just a Chevy crate engine. Literally comes in a cardboard box that you can pick up at the Chevrolet dealership. But yes, the engine rule package and weights and basic chassis configuration is the same for the IHRA. Where they differ is a little bit of body height stuff, and the shocks is the biggest thing. They make us run a spec shock, which is nowhere near ideal for what we would want to run. And we also are not allowed bump stops. So on our current cars, we really soft springs, car travels down, sits on the bump stops, rides a quarter inch off the ground all the way around the track, and it just kind of stays slammed down there for lower CG, just to keep the car lower, keep the car, handling better and faster. So we're not allowed to do that in the IHRA. So the car comes up and it's 7 inches down, up off the ground down the straightaway, and it's just a whole different deal.
It's so the shocks, the benefit of the pro lates that you run is that the car slammed on the ground and it that's where it kind of wants to be, but it's a
Yeah,
far more expensive shock, and you just happen to have a whole suite of those things, with every version, flavor,
right,
spring, rate that you want. And
for sure.
IHRA, it's a very affordable shock, but that's the trade. The cars look. I mean, if you're used to a Pro Late model and you see an IHRA one, they look a little goofy. I go, but I mean,
Right,
they're still race cars. Um,
right.
it's still fun and still
Yeah,
good development.
I think the idea is, that the big teams can spend, let's say, $10,000 on, their shock program or more than that or whatever. And here's a spec shock where everybody's got to be on the same shock and it's a $500 shock. So they just want to even the playing field where the guy that's running 10th and says, man, I don't have a $10,000 shock budget. has the same stuff as the big guy with, unlimited shock budget or whatever. So, yeah, just a way to try to save people money, and it may or may not be, but yeah, that's what they're trying to do, and they got good intentions for sure.
Last question. The engine. All right. So it's a Crate 604. Crate models are this audience is familiar with Crate motors. We like Crate motors. And the small block Chevy has stood the test of time. There are other. I think a Super Late runs a different Crate motor that's more of an LS base, but in this series, there's another Crate motor that we could run that's got more power, but it comes with a weight penalty. What is that?
Yeah, so they just called it Upgrade 604. And we're allowed to change the cam, rocker arms, harmonic balancer. I think that's it. Probably gives us 35, 40 more horsepower, but we have to carry 50 extra pounds. So track dependent. There's positives and negatives of both, but we've won with both. We've got an assortment of both. I think I've got 4 of each, something like that. So yeah, both have been super reliable. Knock on wood. We haven't had much issues, durability out of either one. So yeah, I mean, honestly, been great motors. They limit us on RPM, so we can only turn 6,500 RPMs, which probably helps the longevity of the engine. Because us being racers, if we think, turning 7,000 will be a little better, like the next guy's going to turn at 71, and man, if he's turning 71, I got to turn 72, and it's just a never ending battle to be a little bit better. And then you have durability issues. So them limiting us on that is probably the best thing they could do for sure.
Well, we'll end here. So I could talk to you for days and days, but I just wanted people to get to know you and get used to you. Your dad is at every time I've been with you, your dad's been there, and your dad is he knows his role here. He loves you though. He is very proud of you, and he can't help every now and then but want to step in, and he holds himself back. But like when he has coached up Dallas a little bit, it's been in a very fun Southern way. Like instead of him saying you're doing this wrong, he'll say, what you want to do is pick out yourself a sign at the end of this corner. Yeah. Not that sign, that sign.
For sure. For sure.
And he'll tell him that. So see that sign over there? Not that one. No.
Yeah.
You want that one.
For sure. For sure. Yeah.
And the truth is he's right. And he's right because he's done this a little more than once.
For sure.
So your dad is a charmer, and then there's another young man there working with you, Austin. What is Austin's last name?
Austin Taylor.
Austin is a stitch, and Austin has a way of speaking that is very very calming. I think Dallas gave him his helmet, and he said, "My goodness, this is so big, I could eat a bowl of cereal out of
it." Yeah. Yes.
So, yeah. I share this because there are some places you can go that are very hardcore, very focused on success and winning, and that's a thing. That's a good thing. Yep. What we needed was coaching with people that we can trust and that are in it for the right reasons. You showed up at one of Dallas's Legends race, which you frankly didn't have to do, but it was nice that you did that, and I know that you've been in contact with him. I'm sure you do that for all your clients. It just does mean something, Brandon. So I wanted to thank you for that. And then, for people that are on the same journey for us, whether it's now or in the future, give them some assurance that they're talking to the right guy. How can people reach out to you if they would like more information, maybe get some advice?
Yeah, so you can check us out on Facebook, Setzer Racing and Development. Also have a website, setzerracing.com. So you can check us out on there. But yeah, just like you said, man, we really do care. It means the world to us to watch our drivers go on and do bigger, better things. And, we're always trying to come up with new ways that we can help the drivers and just, be there for them, even like you said, showing up to the Legend Car race. I just, I didn't want to coach Dallas. I don't know anything about those cars. I just wanted to hang out and kind of watch what they do and see Dallas's progression and, give them, hopefully a little bit of a confidence boost, just a couple words of encouragement, is about all I could do there. But, it's so gratifying to see, like, we have William Sawalich, who's went on to be successful Xfinity Series. Tristan McKee is running ARCA and winning ARCA races now. So we've been super lucky to work with unbelievable talent throughout the years in business, and watching the kids grow. And they've all just done so well. George Phillips is winning super late model races. Ben Mayer is we had him last year, and he's progressing well. Had a couple truck starts last year and successful on the road courses. So yeah, we just super lucky, and yeah, love what I'm doing. Couldn't imagine doing anything else. So yeah, just hopefully keep going, and hopefully get Dallas's first late model win this year.
Yeah, I think you had Connor Zillich as well.
Yeah, we had Connor Zillich for one race, so I can't take any credit for any coaching for Connor Zillich. I mean, yeah, we had it for his first ever late model race, so I mean, maybe we helped him a little bit, but the kid was an unbelievable natural talent. Really didn't need a ton of coaching right off the bat. He was pretty special, and it shows. I mean, he's pretty unbelievable. Having a rough go of it for his first cup year here, but hopefully he gets a turnaround. I know he will. He's got a ton of talent and good people behind him, so he'll be fine.
Brandon, thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you next week for race number 2 together.
Absolutely. Yep. Look forward to it, buddy.